Everyone fantasizes about survival gear. The $300 sleeping bag that's rated to -40, the ultralight bivvy that costs more than your rent, the tactical this and the high-tech that. Here's what they don't tell you. This thing has already failed. You just don't know it yet. Today, I'm going to prove that a principle of physics so simple it's taught in middle school will keep you warmer than any gear you can buy. We're building a shelter from dead leaves and sticks. $0, zero tools, and it's going to outperform everything in the REI catalog. This is an inspiration. This is mathematics. And the math says the outdoor industry has been lying to you.
The temperature is dropping, below freezing tonight. And every tactical prepper with a credit card thinks they've solved this problem by buying synthetic fill and waterproof coatings. They haven't. They've just delayed their education. The outdoor industry makes billions selling you portable solutions to problems you don't understand. High-tech fabrics, advanced insulation, proprietary this and patented that. And it works, until it doesn't. Until the zipper breaks, until you lose your pack, until you realize you spent your emergency fund on gear instead of knowledge, and now you're going to freeze because you don't understand the actual physics of staying alive. Let's talk about what actually kills you. 3 mechanisms: conduction, convection, radiation. Conduction is the ground sucking heat directly from your body through contact, 25 times faster than air at the same temperature. Convection is wind stripping away your warm air layer. Radiation is your body bleeding infrared energy into the cold, like a thermal battery with no off switch. Your body produces about 100 watts of heat continuously. That's it. That's your budget. The entire game of winter survival is preventing those 3 mechanisms from draining your 100-watt furnace faster than it can keep up. Most people die of hypothermia at temperatures the Weather Channel calls chilly, not because they couldn't produce heat, because they couldn't stop losing it. That sleeping bag? It's just a pre-packaged system for managing those 3 mechanisms, but it's a single point of failure wrapped in a $300 price tag. The real solution is understanding the rules so completely that you can rebuild the system from scratch using materials that cost nothing and exist everywhere. The most important rule: you must control the air around you. Everything else is just details.
Before we move a single leaf, here's the principle that governs all insulation, from polar bear fur to your attic to that $300 sleeping bag I just dismissed. Dead airspace. Air is a terrible conductor of heat. It's an excellent insulator, but only if you can trap it, stop it from moving. Because moving air creates convection, and convection is theft. Warm air rises, cold air replaces it. Your body heats the air escapes, you heat more air. You're running a furnace with no walls, and you're losing. Dead air, air that can't circulate, is what every insulation system is actually selling you. The down in a parka, the synthetic fill in a sleeping bag, the fiberglass in your house, none of them insulate. They trap air. The air insulates. This is what squirrels know instinctively when they build those massive leaf nests. The leaves aren't the insulation. The air pockets between the leaves are the insulation. Same principle, free materials, better results if you build it right. That expensive sleeping bag? It's a portable dead airspace delivery system. But nature provides the raw materials for the same system in unlimited quantity lying on the ground. These leaves aren't forest trash. They're the building blocks for thermal engineering that rivals or beats anything you can purchase. Our mission? Engineer a structure so efficient at creating dead airspace that my 100-watt body heat is enough to maintain survivable temperatures all night. We're not building a pile of leaves. We're building a wearable blanket of physics.
First battle, the ground. The Earth is an infinite heat sink. It will drain you through conduction without mercy. You can have the warmest sleeping bag ever manufactured, and if you lie on cold ground, your body weight crushes the insulation beneath you. The air pockets collapse. The R value plummets. You've built a thermal highway straight from your core to the frozen dirt. Most people die from the ground, not the air. This is the part the gear reviews don't mention. So the foundation comes first. A thermal break. Thick, fluffy insulation between my body and the earth. I'm looking for the driest leaves I can find because moisture is the enemy. Water conducts heat 25 times faster than air. Wet insulation is worse than no insulation. It's an active threat. I chose this spot for tactical reasons. Sheltered from wind by the ridge, deep leaf litter from old-growth forest, dry. Location matters more than construction in the first 10 minutes of this build. The work starts now. I'm not raking leaves for aesthetics. I'm building a bed that will keep me alive. The goal? A layer that's still 6 to 12 inches thick even after my body weight compresses it. That requires a starting pile about 3 feet high. Most people build a 6-inch bed and wonder why they wake up hypothermic at 3 a.m. Mathematics doesn't care about your comfort. It cares about R value per inch. Maple leaves for bulk, oak leaves for structure and air retention. I'm building up and fluffing constantly to maximize dead airspace. This takes an hour. It should. Fast shelters are cold shelters. Now I lie down and compress it. See that? Went from 3 feet to about 12 inches. This is why you need 3 times more material than seems reasonable. Now I add another 2 feet on top of this compressed base. The bed underneath me needs to stay thick enough to fight conduction all night. This bed matters more than the roof. If this fails, everything fails. The walls can be perfect, but the ground will kill you anyway.
Foundation complete. Now the skeleton. A-frame design. Ancient and effective because the physics haven't changed in 10,000 years. Critical rule. Minimum volume. I'm not building a room. I'm building a body-shaped cocoon. Why? Because I only have 100 watts to work with. Large space equals wasted heat. Small space equals concentrated warmth. The math is brutal and simple. Ridgepole first, 9 feet long, 4 inches diameter, dead-standing hardwood. Propped at one end, about 3 feet high, resting on the ground at the other. That's the spine. Ribs next, smaller branches leaning against the ridgepole at 45 to 60 degrees. Close spacing. This lattice will support hundreds of pounds of debris. The gaps don't matter, they'll fill with insulation. The final shape, long, narrow, barely wider than my shoulders, 3 feet high at my head, tapering to less than a foot at my feet. Zero wasted volume. It looks primitive because primitive works. This isn't carpentry, this is thermal engineering with sticks. The frame does nothing for warmth, it's just the skeleton. The magic is the next part. We've beaten conduction with the foundation. We've built the frame for minimum volume. Now comes the part that decides whether this works or I'm shivering until dawn. If you're starting to understand that survival is physics, not price tags, subscribe, because what's next is the difference between theory and proof. This is the exhausting part. The part where people quit because it doesn't look like the survival videos where everyone builds a lean-to in 20 minutes and calls it done. We're piling insulation, a massive blanket of debris that's going to be 2 to 3 feet thick. Yes, 3 feet. That's not a typo. We're not building a roof. We're building a volume of dead air so substantial it can hold 98.6 degree air in a sub-freezing environment for 8 hours using only body heat. Starting from the bottom, working up like roof shingles. Armfuls of dry leaves, pine needles to fill gaps, small twigs for structure to prevent compression. The rhythm: gather, carry, pile, repeat for hours. The sun is dropping, temperature falling. In a real scenario, you're racing the cold. Your life depends on the work you're doing right now. No motivation speeches, no inspirational music, just the reality that incomplete insulation is failed insulation. Every layer makes it more substantial. The stick skeleton disappears under a swelling mound of brown and gold. It's starting to look like a giant squirrel nest. Good, that's the goal. Nature already solved this problem. I'm just copying the assignment. After 2 more hours, it's done. Walls so thick I can push my arm and a foot before hitting resistance. Extra leaves piled by the entrance to plug the door once I'm inside. That seal is non-negotiable. An open door is a chimney for your body heat. 4 hours of work, a mountain of material moved. What I've built is more than leaves. It's a physical manifestation of thermal physics. Now we test whether the theory holds against a cold winter night.
Last light gone. Temperature dropped. Time to see if dead airspace beats a $300 sleeping bag, or if I'm wrong and the outdoor industry is right. Entrance is deliberately tiny, just shoulder width. I crawl in feet first, wriggling down the channel. The moment I'm inside, the world changes. First, silence. 3 feet of leaves muffles everything to nothing. Second, zero wind. That cold breeze on my face 10 seconds ago, gone. The air in here is perfectly still, already dead. I pull the leaf pile in behind me, sealing the entrance completely. Pitch black, tight space, shoulders touching walls, ceiling inches from my face. This would terrify someone with claustrophobia. Right now, it feels like physics is about to work. Within minutes, I feel the change. The initial chill is fading. My 100-watt furnace is pouring heat into a very small, very well-insulated space. Slow process, but it's happening. The air next to my skin is warming, and because it has nowhere to go, it's staying. I'm not losing heat to wind. The bed beneath me is blocking conduction to the ground. My body is winning. Slight condensation from my breath, reminder that some ventilation matters. Door plug is loose enough for minimal air exchange, balance between sealing heat and not suffocating. No technology here, no brand names, no zippers, just me, physics, and trapped air. Now I wait for morning to see who was right, the math or the marketing.
Morning. Still here, still alive. I was warm, not barely survived warm, comfortably warm. The temperature dropped well below freezing outside. Inside this leaf cocoon, I was in a microclimate my body created, and the insulation preserved. My 100 watts, trapped and concentrated in minimum volume, maintained survivable temperature all night. First hour was coldest as my body did the initial heating work. After that, thermal equilibrium. Heat generated, perfectly balanced heat lost, through 3 feet of insulation, stable, sustainable. The ground beneath me was cooled, but not that biting, heat-sucking cold of bare earth. 6 inches of compressed leaves blocked conduction. The air was calm and still. I slept for several hours, real sleep, not the shivering half-consciousness of cold survival. Here's the proof. This pile of leaves and sticks, built for $0 with 0 tools, outperformed a high-tech sleeping bag left in the open. Why? Because a sleeping bag only insulates you. A debris hut creates an entire insulated environment, shrinking the space and maximizing your body's efficiency. Let's talk about the economics. Building this shelter, 1,200 calories burned over 4 hours. Sleeping exposed and shivering all night, 400 calories per hour for 8 hours equals 3,200 if you even survive. I invested 1,200. I saved 3,000. That's not survival, that's profit. The mathematics are clear. The physics work. The outdoor industry is selling you convenience, not capability.
Dead airspace. That's the best insulation in the world, not because of what it is, because of what it does. And the knowledge of how to create it is the only survival tool that matters. We've been conditioned to believe survival can be purchased, that safety is tied to how much you spend at the gear store. That's a fragile kind of safety. True resilience comes from understanding the fundamental principles. You don't need to fight the cold. You need to manage heat. Beat conduction, thick layer between you and the ground. Beat convection,
Block wind, trap air, minimize volume. Beat radiation, use your body as the furnace, and build the walls to keep it in. The next time you see a pile of leaves, don't see trash. See millions of air pockets. See thermal barriers. See insulation that doesn't require a credit card. The skills you need to survive aren't sold at REI. They're written in the laws of physics all around you. You just have to stop buying things long enough to learn how to read them. The gear industry wants you dependent on their products. I want you dependent on knowledge. One of these fails when your zipper breaks. The other one doesn't.
Comment below what's the most expensive piece of survival gear you bought before you understood the actual physics. And if you want to keep learning why knowledge beats equipment every time, subscribe. This is Fallout Rat. Stay filthy, stay smart, stay rational, what everyone else is buying their way to a false sense of security.